It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, July the 30th. Good morning. Oh, my Olympic fever just rises and rises and builds and builds. What a night it was. Team handball. Oh, I got thoughts.
I missed yesterday.
Thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't catch anything yesterday.
There's going to be plenty to catch today. Got some local athletes in action. We're starting to have fun with these Olympics. All right, but right now, most importantly, the top 5 at 6, the top things you need to know to start off your day. Number 5. We're going to keep talking about this one. KQ up north, October 3rd through the 6th. We're heading up to Craigens on Gull Lake. You can book your trip at 92kqrs.com. Sponsored by Hoffman Weber Construction. Tickets are already being booked. You don't want to wait too late on this one. We had a great time last year. We'll have a better time this year. That's kind of how that goes.
Now we have to have a better time? Oh, boy, The pressure's on. Oh.
We're going to do the show Friday morning from up there at Craigens with a whole bunch of our friends hanging out and throwing stuff at us and buying us drinks. It's going to be great.
I got into a crunch contest last year. Oh, no, that was a leg wrestling. That was a good old-fashioned leg wrestling right there, yeah.
Wow, that's exactly right.
One, as I recall, dominated that poor woman. In her 80s, my ass.
Listen, if she was a day, she was no more than 72. And by the way, a quick tip I learned, when you're leg wrestling a new friend, make sure they've had 3 Bloody Marys.
Well, I think Blondie had much more than that.
Number 4 on your top 5 and 6. Minnesota is seeing a surge in poison control center calls because of the thriving wild mushroom scene this summer.
Oh, yeah.
Wild mushrooms everywhere.
It's wet. It's been wet out there. There are wild mushrooms everywhere. Most of them, like 99 out of 100, you cannot eat.
That's exactly it. 90 calls for potential exposures to poisonous mushrooms already since April. They basically say this. Look, it's a wet, warm summer, as you just said, Zeb. Eat mushrooms from the store. Just make it real simple on yourself. Never pick and eat a wild mushroom unless a mushroom expert is there to identify it for you.
Yeah, or you're a drug dealer. But don't trust yourself. I think they have an app for that probably, and there aren't any fun mushrooms in Minnesota.
No, you're not gonna. Yeah, you're not gonna have a trip. You're gonna take a trip to the hospital, maybe. But even
the morels. There were some people that died out west a few years ago. They didn't prepare their morel mushrooms properly, and they're tasty as hell. I get it. But
sure.
Know what you're doing.
Real important. If you look at a wild mushroom and you think, I bet that's good, guess what? Just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. Number 3 on your top 5 at 6, Northern Lights could be quite visible over the next few days, at least through tomorrow. Not that far from the Twin Cities. You're going to have to get the right conditions, but there is a bit of a geomagnetic storm watch going on through Wednesday, and during these storms, you can see the aurora much farther south than under normal circumstances. Same things apply as always. Just get to where it's as dark as you can.
Yeah.
During the darkest part of the night, 6 hours of pitch black you get up around these parts, you have a chance of seeing some.
Yeah, they're up north this weekend. Could be in your spot if it all comes together. Northern Lights are a nice touch if they happen where you're at, but you don't often go seeking them out. Seems like they happen all the time now. It's common.
It does seem to be a little bit more often. These geomagnetic storms, just a sign of the universe going, just get it together down there.
The impending apocalypse.
I believe that might be it. Number 2 on our top 5 at 6, the Minnesota Wild have signed an 8-year contract extension with Brock Faber, the Maple Grove native. 8 years, could be worth as much as $68 million. That puts him with the team through 2033.
Yeah.
That's a lot of glasses.
I hope he steps up this season. What was he, second? Rookie of the year? What is it called? The Calder Trophy or something like that they have? It's almost Rookie of the Year. Spent more time on the ice than any other rookie last year. He's a stud. Good job, Wild.
Yep, single-season rookie franchise record for most assists, block shots, and time on ice. Very nicely done there. Keep the local kid instead. And then finally, speaking of those 2024 Paris Olympic Games, the U.S. added 8 more medals yesterday. However, no golds. Or maybe that's already just today. I get my time screwed up. It's already happening.
It's weird, yeah.
Reagan Smith from Lakeville will be in the 100-meter backstroke finals this afternoon. Suni Lee competing in the women's gymnastics gymnastic team finals later this morning. She will be going, I believe, if I saw this, in the individual all-around. She'll be competing, of course, head-to-head with Simone Biles.
Yeah.
And a few of the other gals on the team, along with everybody else.
I think they do the team today, right? So they'll have the team ones today, and then it'll be Suni and Simone.
I spent yesterday doing what I do every 4 years, which is watching some men's team handball.
Yeah.
And saying to myself, every quarterback that retires from the NFL should immediately be slotted into team handball training purposes. The Europeans, they don't have sports where they throw balls except for team handball. Like we have baseball, we have football. That's the big two. Just get some recently retired major league pitchers and NFL quarterbacks, and let's just run the table every stinking time.
They could make hundreds of dollars
at the very best, but they'd have my eternal respect.
Truly, and just to dominate the Europeans.
I know there's more to the sport. Someone out there right now is going, "You so ignorant." There's way more than just having a strong arm. Not much more. I've been watching it for years, and it's like it looks no different than when my kids used to play it in PE class in high school. It looked exactly like that.
You know, on ESPN3 when they do their Ocho Sports thing, they have the weird sports on there like dodgeball. That's what the whole movie was about. That sort of thing. They had the slap contest where people just slap each other. Have you seen this one?
Oh yeah,
one of my favorites. How about getting one of those folks, the champ there, into the handball? Just slap the out of that ball.
Yeah, go for it. We've got a silver and bronze yesterday in skateboarding, but not the gold. How do we not get the skateboarding gold medal?
I don't know. They took it away from us. I tell you what, Japan in particular, they kind of like snowboarding. They dominate. I mean, they do well. That's their thing. They've taken it.
The U.S. men's basketball team going along, they're clearly the favorites, but they're going to have some tough competitions. Unlike our women's team, they beat Japan by 26 points. They have won 56 games in a row going back to 1992.
Someone said yesterday that I did catch some of the highlights last night that the United States could put three teams together and all three would be on the podium.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that the rest of the world is definitely not caught up in terms of women's basketball. All right, there is your top 5 at 6. Plenty of things we're going to be getting into today, including the fact that, every now and again there's an infestation story that's just too good to ignore. This one, however, honestly, I'm going to tell you, it's kind of got me on edge. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Elton John's Tiny Dancer. Haven't heard that song in a while.
Yeah,
I was sitting here like, wow. Yeah, you go, Elton.
Hold me closer.
Hell yeah. So here's the scene. Picture this. You're at the beach with friends or family or with strangers, by yourself, whatever the context. You're at the beach. You're having a nice day. Let's say it's a weekend. You're happy to be away from, the grind of the work week. And then all of a sudden, you notice a bit of a black cloud approaching. And you think to yourself, what is that? Is that smoke coming this way? No, it looks like, is that birds? Is it, no, it's a swarm. Oh, okay. And it's an entire beach being swarmed by dragonflies. That's exactly what happened. Rhode Island on Sunday. A dragonfly swarm. There is footage because half the people there immediately pulled out their iPhones as they thought they were meeting their maker. You've never seen more dragonflies in one place in your life. The good news is dragonflies don't sting.
Right.
They can't hurt you. The bad news, like cicadas, they're just creepy as hell. And it freaks people out. So yes, thousands and thousands and thousands of dragonflies all swarming one area right on a beach. Thankfully, we've got some audio.
Dude, that's insane. This is some apocalypse.
Dude, look at them all.
Oh my God. Where'd they all come from?
Armageddon, that's an apocalypse.
It's the apocalypse. It's the dragonfly apocalypse. People did say the sound, there were so many of them that the sound of their wings was audible quite loudly, in fact. Just a...
Yeah.
I've had a dragonfly or two land on me in my life, and I know full well they don't sting, but the first thing I do is get off of me because they just freak me out.
It's a dragonfly. Yeah, it's got those big eyes. eyes, and it's a cool bug. Maybe my favorite now that I'm looking at some dragonfly fun facts this morning. In the insect world, they have a wingspan of up to 2 to sometimes 5 inches. There's like 300 species of them out there, I'm reading this morning.
Way too big.
That's pretty big. But 300 million years ago, when these bad boys came onto the scene because of all the oxygen-rich environment way back in the day, they had a wingspan of 2.5 feet.
Oh, come on.
They weighed a pound, about the weight of a crow now. Imagine an infestation of those dragonflies coming down on you. However, these bad boys will put away at least 100 mosquitoes a day.
They look artificial, don't they? They look like man-made. They look like little drones.
Yeah, they do. They're cool. And, a lot of drones and different... What are those Dune choppers in the movie Dune? Don't know if you've seen any of the last couple of Dune movies, but they're patterned after the dragonflies.
And they eat mosquitoes.
They eat mosquitoes. And they stay in the larva stage for up to 2 years.
Well, then I'm going to reverse course and say, let's get some damn dragonflies in the Twin Cities.
We could use an infestation around here.
Crap.
Yeah.
As we said, they don't sting. They can't hurt you. So you won't see dragonfly on the Schmidt Sting Pain Index. Are you familiar with this?
No, I'm not.
There is a pain index to determine, like for insect stings, to give you a ranking of how bad you're. The Schmidt Sting Pain Index. It was developed by a guy named Justin Schmidt. He's an entomologist from Arizona. Level 1 is like a mosquito or a fire ant. Less than 5 minutes, even if you might not even notice. Level 2 is like a yellow jacket, which I had yesterday.
Yeah.
I got hammered by a yellow jacket. Sting lasts between 5 and 10 minutes. That was my experience. Within 10 minutes, I was like, oh, it kind of doesn't really hurt anymore.
Yeah, but for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Level 3, pain that can last up to half an hour. This would be like your wasp, the red paper wasp, or the Klug's velvet ant, which is a wingless wasp. Level 4, the tarantula hawk. That's a wasp that paralyzes tarantulas. We've talked about that before. That pain has been described as a running hair dryer being dropped into your bubble bath, a bolt out of the heavens. All you can do is lie down and scream. By the way, I should let you know that Justin Schmidt, the man who put this scale together, allowed himself to be stung by dozens of insects to then rank the pain.
Right.
Yeah,
that
makes sense.
Yeah, that's like a fetish, I think. He's
Pretty much.
Yeah, someone's having some fun there, I think. What about...
Do you want to hear the worst?
Oh, yeah.
The absolute worst. There's one that's a level 4 plus, and it is this is a bullet ant. And he says the bullet ant describes pure, intense, brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel.
And he used the word brilliant. See,
yes,
he's a weirdo.
The venom from a bullet ant can cause muscle contractions, burning sensation, and intense pain for 24 hours or more. If you're not in the rainforests of South or Central America, probably not going to encounter one of these things.
And he let himself be stung by one of those?
Yes.
Okay, this guy...
Don't wear
Did he
sandals
also
in the
walk
rainforest.
over the coals and get stabbed with the nail just to figure it out? What happened?
He's a professional.
He's into this is who the Scorps were singing about. Love at First Sting. This guy right here.
That was the guy
this
right
is
there.
the guy they had in mind. Schmidt.
Yeah.
And the Schmidt Pain Index Scale. Well,
If insect attacks are freaking you out, there is another animal attack we can get into briefly. This is in Brighton, which is a neighborhood in Boston, Massachusetts. A woman was shocked to walk out of her house and see that her car had been assaulted, scratched pretty spectacularly. Like the entire driver's side of her car, which was parked on her street,
psycho ex-boyfriend,
just looked like somebody had keyed it, like a jolted lover with a set of keys. Her neighbor actually had left a note that said, "Hey, I've got this on video. I didn't know what else to do." It was a wild turkey.
Why?
It took several minutes to just attack a random car. The note said, "I just watched and recorded a massive turkey attack your car, actually for over 15 minutes.
Rival turkey?
I'm sorry you were the target of this turkey rage."
Oh, here she is.
All sides of my car were messed up, like completely scratched. We were already a little out of it. Saw the note, was like, oh gosh, someone hit my car. It says, "I just watched and recorded a massive turkey attack your car for over 15 minutes. Sorry you were the target of this turkey rage."
Why turkey rage? Little bastard.
And the fact that it's just right in the middle of Boston. Dude, you're lost. Go somewhere else. Get some space.
I've seen some weird things in Boston. I've never seen a turkey flogging. That's what they call it, isn't it? Flogging.
Is that what they
That's
call it?
They used to call it on the farm. If a turkey or a goose would chase you down, you've been flogged.
Really?
By the animal. I don't know. Dad might have made that up.
I feel like I've heard somebody. I feel like the term wild turkey flogging is a euphemism, but that it goes back to my teen years. But I could be making that up.
I think we've always been there. Well, we know the turkeys. I was just up north over the weekend, and there were some turkeys that came into the park. I'm walking down to have a bite to eat in Crosby there, and there's a little park across the street, and I hear the mom go, "Come on, kids, the turkeys are here." She's hustling the kids out because a gang of turkeys.
Really?
Bastards. Yeah. Well, Tony, you run into them all the time.
We were talking about that. Where'd they come? A few years ago, never saw them. Now they're in the neighborhood all the time on my street, on our front yard. Packs of them, and they're big.
Yeah,
big wild turkeys.
And it usually happens in the spring and fall when they're horny and mating, and you can see how that might happen. They get all worked up. This is a wild turkey terrorizing a mobile home.
Stairs and tries to get in my house. When I leave in the car, follows me in my car. It gets on the back of my husband's truck and follows me. It rode to Chipotle with me one time. I have to carry my broom and my water bottle and my golf club with me everywhere I go.
Like, we can't have people over. We can't have a barbecue.
Right. The kids that walk to the bus stop every morning, I have to come out and help them. But now they're smart and they carry sticks.
Yeah, why don't you carry a shotgun?
Oh my! Yeah, we could take care of this real quick.
Yeah.
No one's gonna miss these bastards.
Yeah, anyone killing turkeys, and they're delicious. A man attacked by a turkey.
Next thing I know, it really fluffs its feathers up and gets big, and it starts coming towards me. And my first thought was, I'm going to get big and maybe scare it off. What do I know? It just keeps coming, so I turn and just run. And I quickly look around to see if any of my neighbors are seeing the idiot being chased by a turkey.
It's best to keep your distance for your own safety and for the sake of the animals too.
Well, not for the sake of the animals. You can't let them smell the fear. A turkey.
I'm gonna enjoy my Thanksgiving more than ever now that I'm aware of what a menace these suckers are.
SOB.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday. No, it's not. It's Tuesday. What is wrong with me?
Silly Gosh, dang ya.
Tuesday, July 30th. It's time for a quick history lesson. A little bit of, I guess, sports and quotes history. On this day, July 30th, 1975, after leaving a restaurant in Bloomfield Township, Michigan, Union leader Jimmy Hoffa disappeared and was never seen again. Why are we talking about that in sports history? Well, because the word on the street is he was buried underneath the then being built Giants Stadium in New Jersey. He was killed, dismembered, and stuffed into an oil drum. They didn't just put him in the dirt. They put him in an oil drum first.
Yeah.
Never been proven, of course, but that is the story I've heard for as long as I can remember.
That's my favorite.
Saw the movie Hoffa with Jack Nicholson, and I might need to take another look at it because when I saw it in the theater, I thought it was terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Danny DeVito being cast, and that was really
I think he directed it. So he was just like, I'll just play that giant part that didn't exist in real life. On this day in 1976, 1 year to the day after Hoffa disappeared, speaking of disappearing, Bruce Jenner won the decathlon at the Montreal Olympics. Matinee idol, good looks. He was everywhere. He was on the Wheaties box. Yeah. He was on the Today Show. If you had told me well, any other person on earth, what the next 48 years would hold for Bruce Jenner. I mean, what a life. Truth is always more compelling than fiction, isn't it?
Yep. Caitlin was secretly cheering him on.
She sure was.
Big movie reviews, the latest news on rock stars, celebrities, and world-class athletes, and plenty of juicy love nuggets, too. We're heading west for Mike Evans' Hollywood Report on the KQ Morning Show.
Hey, good morning, Minneapolis. Good morning, St. Paul. Good morning, Steve and Zepp and Tony. But good morning, everybody. We start off with a very anti-love nugget. So when Stephen Baldwin's son-in-law, Justin Bieber, went underground months ago, it was believed to be a health problem. Stephen Baldwin publicly asked for prayers for Justin and for his daughter, Haley. Well, for some unknown reason, that infuriated Justin and his daughter. And with Haley now about to give birth to their second child, they've cut off all communications with the grandfather, Stephen. What's up with that? I don't get it. Some TV news. What's up with this? Unbelievable. The Peacock Network has green-lighted a 3-part docuseries called Face to Face with Scott Peterson. Question: who the hell cares about that double murderer? Found guilty of killing his pregnant wife Lacey and their unborn child. I covered that trial. It was a slam dunk. Guilty. But now the LA Innocence Project said they might take a second look. Like I said, unbelievable. But what do I know? I thought O.J. Simpson was guilty. More TV news. The Kardashians have been picked up for 20 more episodes by Hulu, which brings up another who cares. You know what? To me, the highlight of the Olympics so far was Celine Dion singing, and I know I'm not going to pronounce this right, Le Hymne L'amour. You know, it was her first appearance in 2 years. Her voice was stronger than ever. It was beautiful. 5 stars for Celine Dion. Some odds and ends. So if you're a gamer, and if your game has audio, chances are that the person doing that audio is a member of SAG-AFTRA, and they are demanding more money for doing those games and are threatening to go on strike. A vote could take place this week. When I find out more, I will let you know. Shocking. Kevin Costner's movie Horizon, an American epic, Chapter 1, that opened just 4 weeks ago on 3,755 screens, is so bad, so poorly received. Last week it was on only 182 screens, and it'll be gone this week. Unbelievable. And Cher has announced that she will release the first of a 2-part memoir in book and audio form on November 19th. You know what? I bet she won't mention when I used to hang out with her and Sonny at the house, and that day I ran out in the street and saved her dog, Quetzal. Bet she doesn't even mention that. Probably not. No, I guess not. Hey, have a great day, Minneapolis, St. Paul. We'll do it again tomorrow. Mike Evans, see ya.
The Mike Evans Hollywood Report, weekdays on the KQ Morning Show. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, July the 30th. Good morning. You know, Slash from Guns N' Roses has a new solo album. It's a blues album called Orgy of the Damned, and that is just released, and that coincides with his Serpent Festival tour. How about this? Why don't you do your part to win a trip for 2 to Nashville? You will attend, of course, the Serpent Festival gig, an exclusive Slash soundcheck experience. Plus, you'll take home an autographed Gibson guitar and the new LP. Right now, text the national keyword ALBUM, A-L-B-U-M. Remember albums? Does anybody remember albums? To 95819. Text album to 95819. Enter for a chance to win. That, if you win, will be a lot of fun. As opposed to, as it is Tuesday, we've got a long list always. On Tuesday, the runt of the week. Here are your unfun facts.
Let's begin, shall we? Shall we?
Oh, we'll begin right here. Here's some unfun facts. In 1518, there was a plague that originated in Strasbourg. Not a Black Death plague, a dancing plague. Check this out. This was then part of the Holy Roman Empire. Residents of Strasbourg were struck by a sudden and seemingly uncontrollable urge to dance.
Were they listening to Devo?
And it began with, boy, I would not be surprised if Devo were literally time travelers.
Somebody, hit that note, you know.
A woman named they have patient 0 on this mystery dancing plague. Frau Trophia stepped into the street and began to silently twist, twirl, and shake. She did this for nearly a week, and before long, almost 36 other members of the Strasbourg community had joined in. By August, 400 victims had fallen prey to this.
A victim.
Physicians called it, they blamed it on, quote, hot blood.
Now I'm thinking it was a Grateful Dead gig.
Pretty much lead-legged, but almost 400 people truly in the streets of Strasbourg danced themselves to death.
Did someone find some mushrooms in the woods, maybe?
Could have just been as simple as that.
Themselves
Very
to
true.
Death.
Nothing about that sounds fun. I mean, because we've seen the twirlers at dead shows. It's not fun for 1 minute, much less 3 weeks.
Oh man!
You are more likely, Brian Zepp, me, Steve Gorman, any of us, more likely to be killed by a cow than a shark.
Well, here in the Midwest, no doubt about that. But my Aunt Marianne she lost her spleen to a cow. More specifically, actually, it was a bull.
Okay.
Got pinned up against a fence, that sort of thing. But yeah, we're out there. We're interacting with the bovine, not so much with but that really a cow.
Yes, they certainly look docile, don't they?
Yeah.
An average of 22 deaths a year in the United States by bovines, typically stomping or occasionally goring. How many shark deaths around the world? What's the annual average of people killed by sharks? Take a guess, Tony. Average.
12.
Yeah, I would say I'll go high, 20.
4.
That's it.
4. This has been an extraordinarily high year for shark attacks and fatalities. I think we've already had at least 4 fatalities this year, but that's the global yearly average.
And the cows are way over that. They have a operation over here in Wisconsin where you can go hug a cow for a therapy kind of thing to feel better about yourself. I think you can even cuddle with them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem.
How much?
I don't know. I didn't apply or whatever, but I just saw the
Totally
story.
worth it.
Yeah, there's you just go lay with a cow.
What happens if we give the cows cocaine?
There's only one way to find out. Don't be wasting cocaine on a cow. What happens to Zepp when you give him cocaine? Just saying.
It is Tuesday.
Tongue out Tuesday? What does that mean? I don't even know.
Not much of a risk of shark attacks here in the Twin Cities. Nor is there a risk of hippo attacks. However, the average number of hippopotamus kills of humans in a year is about 500.
Yeah,
they're vicious.
Yeah, they're vicious.
They are.
They can hit a sprint of up to 20 miles an hour. They can weigh up to 3.5 tons. Their teeth never stop growing.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't mess around. If you see a hippo, A, you're in the wrong place, and B, get the hell out of there.
See a hippo.
Here's a real unfun fact, and I'm looking at Chauncey as I say this because he's just an hour and change away from his last spoonful of peanut butter. Peanut butter can and very regularly does contain rat hairs.
Oh, all right.
The process of peanut butter, from the peanuts to the peanut butter in your jar, apparently there's some rats involved.
We work here in Dinkytown, and I hate to pick on Dinky, but because I work here, it's familiar to me. And every morning I drive in, I just look at one restaurant after another, and I'm like, full of rats, full of rats, full of rats, full of rats. I've probably eaten an entire rat in 2024. I'm just going to give in on that. Peanut butter, thank goodness it's delicious.
I'm not sweating it. Yeah. I look at peanut butter, whatever is in your system, you chase it with peanut butter, it's all coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The peanut butter just acts as a I don't know, let's come up with a word. A tremollient? That's a word I just made up. Peanut butter is a tremollient.
Yes,
it cleans my
is.
system out. How about this? In 7 hours, the average fully grown elephant produces enough poop to outweigh the average adult human being. 7 hours.
Wow. That's so what about 150, 180 pounds of poo in 7 hours? This is why you wouldn't want to have a pet elephant, right?
There's nothing fun about that idea. No, not a chance.
Imagine the bag you have to carry around when you're taking it for a walk.
It'd be like the big lawn bags,
Okay, here's an unfun fact from the state of Illinois. In 2008, a woman, a 56-year-old woman, woke up and her dachshund, whose name was Roscoe, had gnawed off her big toe while she slept. The reason she didn't feel it, she had already suffered some nerve damage from diabetes, and she didn't have any feeling in her toes. And Roscoe apparently thought, well, one man's trash is another man's treasure. You're not using that big toe. I'm hungry. it's a win-win.
I mean, the West, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Now it's awkward with Roscoe. Do you let him give you kisses on your face?
Not after he chews my toe off.
No.
Maybe up until that point.
I just feel like, boy, that's not. If I'm sleeping through that, just push me into the lake.
Reminds me of a family get-together. Some cousins from Detroit came to visit us when we lived in Maryland. My cousin Jeffrey was probably 3, and we woke up. It was a Saturday morning. You got a bunch of cousins in the house, all sleeping on the floors and the couches. We're all crashing in the rec room, and my brother Doug was sound asleep, and we said, Jeffrey, go bite his big toe. And he, being 3 and wanting to impress his older cousins, went, okay. And he put everything he had into that. And damn near Roscoe'd my brother's big toe from the look of it. I mean,
those sharp little baby teeth.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Oh, he didn't have his baby teeth anymore.
No, 3.
Oh, yeah, 3. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you said 3.
No, it's amazing what a highly motivated toddler cousin can do, the kind of damage they can wreak. There is a predatory fish called a snakehead fish. It can walk on land. These fish have gills and an organ located in their gill arches that permits them to breathe oxygen. They can come up on land in search of food. They flop on their fins for up to a quarter of a mile. Everywhere from California to New England to Florida, they can weigh as much as 14 pounds.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. And that really beautiful woman, what was her name? But that was one of my favorite ones to watch as a kid. This is why in Wisconsin you're now allowed to carry a gun in a boat. Just in case. I mean, if it comes out of the water, what are you going to do? Try and hook it? No. Then you got to get the gun out and blast it.
One last fact to make this even worse. These are an invasive species. They are native to both Africa and Asia, but not North America, so there are no natural predators here. Their growth is the population is growing unchecked by natural predators. So become the natural predator, load up your handgun, and if you see a walking snakehead fish, feel free to blast that sumbitch right down to the gates of hell.
Yeah, we gotta go 19th century Euro white man on these people, just wipe them on these snake fish. Wipe them out.
Here's one last unfun fact. I think we'll top it off with this. Up until sometime in the 19th century, so this would be the 1800s, in the country of Turkey, or I believe as they now pronounce it, Turkey, that during the World Cup, all the announcers were like, they actually pronounce it Turkey, so we'll start saying Turkey. Okay, Turkish women, if they were suspected of cheating on their men. Mm-hmm. There was no trial. There was no hearing. They were simply tied into a sack filled with cats and tossed into the ocean.
Right. Why the cats? I mean, the ocean is enough.
I guess they... And it's funny because in Turkey there are a wild population of street cats, and people take good care of them. Like if you're in Istanbul and cats walk into your shop, you just feed them. Just like everywhere, everybody I know that's ever been there is like, oh, the cat scene's amazing. Everywhere you go, there's cats hanging out with you.
Yeah. It's like Key West.
That's cat, but those are cats with a K. Whole different vibe.
God, I know. Why would you even be a woman in Turkey? Turkey,
I think. Hey, my wife didn't. She didn't have my dinner on time. I think she might be cheating. You got a burlap sack? Yeah. Grab a couple of those street cats, and I'll meet you at 9:00.
What about the poor guy that's banging your wife? Also, not your wife, but I mean, now he's losing out in side action. That's who I feel sorry for.
He doesn't end up in a bag with a bunch of cats. I mean, come on.
I know, but he's lonely now, and he's got to go find someone else that's potentially going to end up in a bag of cats. I feel sorry for the guys here.
What a problem.
No, I just don't know why women didn't revolt and figure out how to take this planet away from us a long time ago.
With the 19th century Turkish gentleman's view, here's Brian Zepp. What's the biggest screw-up you ever had at work, and what was the response? I don't mean like, did you ever get fired, but did your boss ever go off on you? I mean, did he ever really go off on you? A boss at Chipotle has really gone off. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Tuesday, July the 30th. We've all had jobs where the manager got in our grill. The boss came down heavy.
Yeah.
You screw something up, or they think you screw something up. They're gonna let you know about it. This is a bit much in a Chipotle restaurant in Atlanta. technically East Point, right down by the airport. If you've ever been to Atlanta, south of downtown, there is a Chipotle on Camp Creek Parkway. And a gentleman named Quentin Collins, who has been working at that Chipotle for about a week. He was still in training.
Yeah.
Had no run-ins with the manager before this.
Okay.
Couple days ago, his shift ended, and he had to run out to catch the bus. He's well aware of the schedule, sees the bus coming. He's already clocked out. The manager says, "Hey, man, you didn't take the trash out yet." The dude's like, "Well, but I'm already clocked out. I'm going to miss my bus." He just kept going. Manager,
don't come back.
Manager chased him outside of the restaurant. Chased him down the street.
Seems excessive.
Cornered him.
Yeah.
Pulled a gun on him.
God dang it, I was trying to be on the management side here, which would be a new thing for me, and this is why I never am. Pulled a gun on him.
You're gonna get back in there and get that trash out.
Probably should go to HR.
Probably want to go to HR. Quentin Jones on a local news account or report telling his version of events.
You write a person up that forget to do that. Face them down and pull a gun. That's otherworld. They might have to give me some medicine to help me sleep, because every time I close my eyes, I'm in that moment where I'm staring at death.
He's you write a person up for forgetting to do that. Yeah. This is other world.
What world would that be?
I'm not sure.
Take out the garbage, it's probably frustrating trying to manage some of these people that come in and don't do their job and then just walk down the street or down the strip mall and get a job at another place. But yeah, I would say that's an overreaction.
I'm sure the guy's like, I only pulled the gun because he didn't take the trash. Dude, that's not why you pulled the gun.
No.
There's a few other things at play here.
Is it the old lady? Are you guys arguing at home? Are you in debt with some gambling debts? That damn online gambling.
The manager still not named in these reports, also still hasn't come back to work since the incident himself. He at least had the self-awareness once he settled down to go, I probably don't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
Police have said the manager has been contacted. They've been left messages. He needs to come in and speak to the people at Chipotle.
Yeah.
They say we're going to put out an arrest warrant if he isn't in by Friday. Wow, since he's not been charged yet with any crimes, they've not named him publicly.
I'm surprised he hasn't been.
There's surveillance video that shows him running out after the employee. There's surveillance video that shows him coming back in a few minutes later and then leaving again. But we don't have surveillance video of the actual incident with the gun, apparently, although there were witnesses. So anyway, it remains to be seen.
Here's your new manager right here, a level-headed thinking fella.
You write a person up that forget to do that. Face them down and pull a gun. That's otherworld. They might have to give me some medicine to help me sleep, because every time I close my eyes, I'm in that moment where I'm staring at death.
Who's they?
They might have to. Chipotle? Chipotle's going to have to give me some drugs to help me sleep.
Chipotle just rolling out, I was reading this morning, a new, what is lip stain? Is that what it is? Lip stain? I looked right at Ryder.
I don't know why
I looked at Ryder. Makeup in decades. I don't know, man.
Look at Tony or Steve as Ryder to ask about the new Chipotle lip. Yeah, it's called Lip Stain. Yeah, it's avocado colored. Oh, and it's burrito proof. Isn't that frustrating when you get your lip stain just right?
What?
I don't know why they call it lipstick anymore.
Wow. I saw a story the other day that Chipotle was under fire, as they say. Apparently saying the burrito bowl portions, they've been skimping. They're lessening the portions and people are aware of it.
You're supposed to make the bowls smaller, not, put less in the bowl. We can see that.
Yeah.
Like the potato chip bags. We know they're smaller now. Come on, man.
Yeah, people were taking videos, watching them being served, and they're just little dollops.
Oh, boy.
Come on, man. It's Chipotle.
How am I
dollops when we go over to the fancy restaurant?
How am I supposed to get all 2,700 calories in that burrito bowl if you skimp on that stuff?
Yeah, right.
Here's another great one. A woman, her name is Lauren Riley. She's 41 years old, and she was a passenger in a car that was pulled over. Going about her business, blah, blah, blah. Why was the car pulled over? The officer noticed the driver was not wearing their seatbelt. My God, if you get pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt, you've just, I mean, what's the easiest thing in the world to do is put on that seatbelt to avoid having an officer look at you twice. The driver was not wearing the seatbelt. He walks up to the car and he looks inside the car, and Riley, again, this woman in the passenger seat, is trying to hide something or other on the floorboard behind her seat. He's like, so what are you doing there? She says, nothing. He says, I'm going to have to search the car. He opens up her purse, and he finds a small bag with the words, bag of drugs on the bag.
Well, you don't want to get that confused with your Chipotle lip stain.
Yeah.
See, I'm more clever than that. I would have written on the bag, not drugs.
Yeah.
Just in case I got pulled over.
Inside that bag, a needle, straws, a metal spoon, 4 glass pipes, plastic baggies containing crack cocaine, crystal meth, Xanax, and other narcotics.
Dear God.
I've seen enough Quentin Tarantino movies to know that a needle, straws, a spoon, and 4 glass pipes is trouble.
I mean, that's all of it, isn't it? I mean, what do you
Pretty much everything.
Wow, we're going for the good time, I guess.
Target. Check out our new bag of drugs. This season, only $14.99.
Little bag of drugs.
It'd probably sell like hell, honestly, if you you just came up with a little boutique bag labeled bag of drugs.
There's, I guess you could, there's a bag of nails. You see that at the hardware store sometimes?
Bag of nails.
Bag of nails. Anybody got a bag of drugs? Anyone?
You run out there and get me a bag of nails, and then hit the packy store and get me a box of beer on your way home.
I can see doing that. If you did you guys ever have a label maker? When those first came out, you label everything because you can.
Everything.
Make your little sticker.
Yeah, on my bike. I was like, Mom, on my bike. She goes, what if someone tries to steal it? I'm like, well, they can't. It has a label on it with my name.
Just says Brian.
It's steel proof. And bag of drugs. Clink, click, clink, click, clink. And then you'd screw up. There's, you can't. X. Whoa, I hit the wrong one.
Damn it. How about this? This is probably going to go ahead and say my favorite story of the day. We always hear about things going up for auction. A lot of musicians, they say, I'm putting the guitars up, don't need them all. Well, we're going to raise money for charity. You see wristwatch collections, artwork, of course, all kinds of auctions. A British woman's prized collection is up for auction and did not receive a single bid. Her prized collection of 163 bedpans.
Not used, I hope.
163 bedpans. Oh, they've been used. This woman, her name is Mary Jacobs. She started collecting them 40 years ago. In 1984, she walked into a Salvation Army and saw a bedpan for sale, and she bought it. And she said, I decided to keep buying more because, here's the quote, I just wanted to collect something different, and it snowballed, didn't it?
It was hooked.
163 bedpans. Not one bid. And she's surprised because she has said they're clean, washed, and in fantastic condition.
Says you.
Hey, guys, I went out with this gal last night, Mary. Things went really well. We went back to her place.
Yeah.
And, just walked through the door, and there it was, bedpans everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'd be confused.
Don't you think it's fascinating how the shape of bedpans has changed over the years? Look at this one. This was cut out of teak, isn't it? It's fantastic wood. Lasts forever. But it's for like a wide bottom, really, isn't it? And now look at this. This is one that Twiggy could have used, as skinny as she was. This is made out of plastic.
Oh, God bless her. I just found her. There's one made out of ceramic. It looks kind of like it could be one huge pot bowl.
Oh, it's scratch resistant.
Yeah, right.
I don't like to use them. I just like to think about using them. I don't know. So it makes me feel warm inside. Here's 162 more bedpans.
Oh, honey, you're going to be buried with those. No one. Yeah, there's not one other freak out there.
Let's see. There's the names of some of these. The improved ideal bedpan. One is called, I'm not making this up, the douche slipper.
What'd you call me?
Yeah.
I know, what a great
One's called the relax. One's just simply number 500.
Yeah.
I've got to go to the bathroom. Is it 500? Yeah, it might be. Here, use this one. Yeah. I mean, I've heard about going number 1 and number 2. I've never heard about going 500.
Have you guys ever used a bedpan? Is that too personal?
No.
It's not too personal. No, I never have.
No, I never have either. When I was in the hospital once with a broken back, I got to pee in they had a little pee thing. Yeah, right, exactly, like a tube, like a Pringle.
And how did we break our back?
That was a horse accident.
Oh.
I was just showing off on a horse, and the horse showed me.
Showed you. And you were how old?
I was probably like 22 or 3-ish, I guess.
Well, I'm retroactively very sorry to hear that. That's not, there's nothing cool about a broken back story.
No, it kind of sucked, I'll be honest with you. But I was in the hospital then. I only spent a week in the hospital, but the week I was in the hospital was like day 4 or 5, and the nurse comes in with a big bag and a hose and all this stuff. I'm like, hey, what's on the menu today? Because I got all sorts of leg rubs and foot rubs from nurses. I thought, this is cool, man. This isn't entirely bad. She goes, well, we're going to give you an enema today, Brian. I said, I don't, what? Why would you do such a thing? And she said, well, because you haven't had a bowel movement in a while, and so this is how we do it.
Oh, boy.
Because my bedpan, I didn't want to go in the bedpan, and I couldn't get out of bed, but I did get out of bed every night at about 2 a.m. and go to the bathroom.
It's pee-pee time.
That's right. And then I'd get back in my little contraption and crank it back down and that whole thing. But so then I confessed. I said, all right, listen, I'll use the bedpan from now on. But then I was out of there before I had to use it.
Never used a bedpan, but I did have a horrific case, a little backed up after an injury. I broke both of my arms in the summer of 1986, and as I was leaving the hospital with not one but two arms in casts, the doctor gave me a prescription for Percodan or Percocet or Percocomething.
Yeah, one of the perks.
Some really heavy-duty perks. And he said, you're going to want to take this and don't, stay ahead of the pain and get on this. And he goes, and don't miss one. And just so you know, this is gonna make you constipated for a few days. And I looked at him, he goes, and that's a good thing. And I was like, because... And he's talking to a kid with two arms and casts. He goes, you're going to need a few days to figure out how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he means wiping myself. And I'm now going back to infant status. And I was like, okay, I know one thing. The summer I turned 21, I'm not having my ass wiped by anyone but me. And I had a few days, and trust me, it's amazing when you set your mind to how do I get all these fingers that are casted off to work in conjunction. And thankfully I did figure that one out.
Thankfully you were limber.
Yeah, get an old rug or something like that and just drag it across like the dogs do sometimes.
Never occurred to me.
I'm a thinker.
It would have relieved so much stress over those 3 days.
It would have felt good.
A lot of rug purchases, though, you'd have to make.
Well, you flip it over. Goods. First of all, you kind of, you get something wide enough, then you just start laying your streaks down. Then you have to flip it over.
Man, there was a whole bedpan summer at the Gorman house.
It's a bedpan summer.
One of my older brothers broke his pelvis, shattered it on both sides. I mean,
God,
terrible.
what's with you guys?
And he was in a hospital bed in the house, and that's just what was going on.
Yeah.
There was no germophobia allowed at the Gorman house. It's like if somebody makes a mess, you clean it up. By God, just get on with it.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. What I did was learn from my brother, which is don't climb towers to remove antennas and have one fall on you.
Nope.
Oh.
That was the lesson I learned.
Avoid that.
Yeah. The only funny button on that whole thing, my brother literally on the roof of a building in downtown Baltimore, a 50-foot tower. He and his boss climbed to the top of that tower actually to disassemble it as it had been improperly assembled. When they were at the 30-foot mark, the whole thing just fell on the roof of a tall story, 20-story building downtown or something.
Holy pucker.
And my brother was, as it fell, my brother was strapped to the side that it landed on him. His boss was on top of the tower, but they're both strapped in. And it landed on him, and it bounced a few times, and right to the edge of the building, and it almost hit some power lines. It was like a crazy story.
Imagine if it hit the power lines.
Yeah. And so I'm just a kid in 4th grade going about my business, and this happens during the school day. And my parents get the call, and when they go to the hospital, this is 70s. There's no cell phones. No one's calling the school to tell the Gorman boys their older brother's in the hospital. I just walk home like it's any other day, and our neighbor's sitting on our front porch, Mr. Dunlap. And I'm like, why is Mr. Dunlap on the front porch? It's like Mr. Dunlap never has 2 cups of coffee at home. I was just so confused to see Mr. Dunlap on our front porch. And he goes, Stevie, I got to talk to you. there's been an accident downtown. And I'm like, oh, what happened? And he goes, your brother Jim was on one of those towers with his boss, and it fell, and it landed on him. And it wasn't my brother Jim. It was my brother Tom.
Well, there's a lot of you.
And I thought, oh, my God, Tom tricked Jim into climbing a tower that fell on him. I literally thought he got him to do that. I was like, why would he do that? He goes, well, he was at work. No, but why would he put Jim on that tower? He goes, did I say Jim? I'm sorry. I meant Tom. Tom's in the hospital. And I had all the conflicting I didn't want anyone to be in the hospital, but I was mad at Tom for tricking Jim. And then suddenly I'm like, what do you mean Tom's in the hospital? Oh, no. And yeah, it was rough. Anyway, Bedpan Summer.
Bedpan Summer.
Yeah, I'm working on a screenplay. It's been a work in progress since the mid-'80s.
Excited to see it, read it.
Oh, it's going to be great.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, July 30th. Over the weekend, the Newport Folk Festival went down. Very famously, the place in 65 where Dylan went electric and pissed off all the folkies, or 66, whenever that was. But that's festival, the New York Rock and Folk, whatever they call it now. It's still Newport, Rhode Island. It's an awesome festival every year. It's a limited number. I think it's 10,000. That's it. Capped. So it sells out every year before they even announce the lineup. And it's a really special event. Yesterday, I went out to the airport to pick up my daughter who came in for a few days, Marley Gorman in town. And I'm at the airport and I see a couple and they're wearing Newport Folk Festival t-shirts like they had just returned from the festival. And my nephew played with his band Illiterate Light for the 4th year in a row. They're a big part of the festival. They do a side stage thing there. And I just said, oh, did you guys go to Newport? Yep. I said, oh, my nephew just played there. He goes, oh, who's he play with? I said, he plays in a band called Illiterate Light. And they went berserk. They were like, oh, my God, they're amazing. And it was it just made me feel like, if he told me that he loved my band, I'd be like, okay, cool, thanks. But then he's like, I love your nephew's band. I was like, yes. I was like, my Grinch heart grew 10 times. It was really, really exciting to hear how the reception he had. And then my nephew called last night and said, oh, man, we got back to Newport. It was great. And I was like, oh, yeah, was it cool? Did you have a good time? He goes, yeah, well, I was hanging out with Jack White and Conan O'Brien. I'm like,
sure.
Okay, you're fine. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean,
that sounds fun.
Conan O'Brien really is the Dylan of our day. I feel.
Well, but if Dylan were taller and way less talented and redheaded, but talented in a different way.
But you said he was playing with Jack White's
He got
band.
Up on stage. Yeah, Jack White. I think it was just part of a general. The two of them got up together. Just the two of them, if I believe. And then there was like that end of the festival, 38 people all on stage playing something together, and then they were both a part of that. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
You know, I see what I see on the socials, as the kids call them.
Gotcha.
Pretty
cool.
That goes.
Pretty cool.
This winds me up.
What?
There's a new racket. I'm going to call it a racket, although some people say it's a great new gig I have. A woman in Boston has a company called Naming Bebe, B-E-B-E, Naming Bebe. She is gainfully employed. She takes on 15 clients a month. She charges each client $350, and so that adds up to over $60,000 per year. What is she doing? What service is she offering? She sits down with expecting parents and helps them pick out a name for their child.
And you pay her $350 to pick out the name for your kid?
To help you.
Unbelievable.
So it's like what she says is, I help them pick the name, but I talk it out with them. I guess there's got to be a PowerPoint involved, or maybe just a chalkboard, pros and cons. But people are literally paying her hundreds of dollars to come up with a name for their child.
Oh, my God. Sad.
Wouldn't you just give them something? Mike. What? It's Mike.
Yeah.
Come on, pay up. But no, it's Mike. Now give me some. Who's paying for this? Come up with your own freaking name. It can get a little contentious. I gave ground.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the kids' middle names. I got the middle names, the ones that don't count, because I knew where I stood in the hierarchy. It was important to Stace, and she had thought it out and picked beautiful names, but we didn't ever, it didn't get to a point where we need a mediator here.
Yeah.
For $350, pick us out a name.
This woman who has this, her name's Colleen Slagan. She's 34 years old. I don't trust a 34-year-old to tell me anything, much less to name my own kid. But that's just me being a grumpy old man. She said, I've always been fascinated with baby names, but I didn't consider a full-time gig until enough of my friends let me know how much my commentary as they were going through the process helped them. Oh, for God's sakes.
She's making over 60 G's a year.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
All right. Well, there's one born every minute. Unfortunately, they've reproduced and created another sucker, probably. Maybe their kids will grow up brighter. I don't know. And you know what happens? You get a kid and you realize how expensive they are, and you go, God, I can't believe we spent $350 on naming that damn thing.
There's, she says, wide interest. A lot of people are looking for that unique, one-of-a-kind, but still not weird or strange name.
Doesn't exist.
She asks them to list the names they're considering. Tell me what names are off limits, and how many syllables do you want the name to have? People realize now that names are a form of self-expression that we're choosing for another person.
They can have this conversation amongst themselves.
Yeah, I would think.
She's very dislikable. No. She once had a customer who had a very nicknamey name. She gave Lulu as an example. She believed that her name Lulu held her back in life. Lulu.
I got good advice from my brother Jim, who, when Rosemary was pregnant for the first time, he said, do you guys have some names you're thinking about? I said, yeah. He goes, don't tell. No, I'm not asking what they are. He goes, here's my only advice. Don't tell anybody until after you have designated that child's name. Once it's done, then say, this is the name. Anyone you ever give your potential candidate names to, you're going to be upset with their reaction.
Yeah.
They're either going to be too over the top. Oh, that's perfect. Or you'll think that they're cutting their eyes. It's a really sensitive subject. Just you guys just figure it out. Name your kids and keep it to yourselves.
Yeah.
And that was really good. I mean, we had no stress over it. We just talked about it a few times, and every couple months we'd bring it up again, and we had it down to our finalists, our candidates. There was nothing contentious about it at all.
Yeah, right. The same applies to naming your truck, by the way.
What were you going to go with?
I gave up Ram Jam. I drive a Ram truck. I'm going with Ram Jam, and I made the joke, and then one of my other buddies started calling his truck Ram Jam.
Oh, he stole it.
Yeah, stole my name.
My sister spilled the beans early, which was probably good. She was going to name her daughter Hibiscus. Hibiscus.
Seriously?
She needs, you know what? She needs a professional namer.
Right. But she went with Haven, which is lovely.
Hibiscus.
Yeah.
What's short for hibiscus? I think it's nickname proof. You can't.
It's true.
Hibiscus.
I met a friend of mine. His sister had a baby, and she said, "This is my daughter. Her has a baby, and her name was Bailey." And I said, "Oh, that's nice." And then she said the thing she shouldn't have said. You just say Bailey, and everyone smiles. She goes, "Yeah, because we were hammered on Baileys when I got pregnant."
Okay.
And I was like, "No, one line too many."
Right.
No, it's great. You tell me the name, I'm going to smile and say it's perfect, and then we just go on and get back to a second round of dinner. Keep that to yourself.
That's
what are you going to do?
My daughter Jameson and Schmidt.
Yeah.
Schmidt Big Mouth, specifically.
Schmidt, she's the talker in the family. We named her Schmidt. That doesn't make sense.
It's a living. I just help people name their babies. Every now and again, a story comes across that reminds us that we're not quite getting enough done in a day, and that it's probably too late. A story of another one of those pesky teenagers doing great things. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Tuesday, July the 30th. Check this out. Jasper National Park in Canada. A bit of a wildfire broke out. A bit of a fire, and a whole lot of people there in the area in a real intense, fast-moving situation. Very intense smoke. Their eyes are burning. The heat is picking up very, very rapidly. They're surrounded by falling ash. It's pretty scary. And then an 18-year-old kid shows up named Colleen Knoll. And, she basically gets a whole lot of people to safety. She's a volunteer firefighter in the area, working a summer job as part of the kitchen staff at one of the lodges up there. She says all of a sudden an alarm goes off. She sees smoke flying up from the mountainside. It was big. She rallied 16 people together and took them on a 4-hour hike in treacherous terrain to safety.
Yeah.
And the other people involved, all adults, they're like, she completely got us in line, led us all the way, stayed calm, did the job. 16 people behind her for a 4-mile hike through treacherous terrain to safety.
Listen to this composure.
The smoke was coming up from the mountainside. It was big. I had previously rode up a horse up to that lodge on that same trail. And throughout the way, me and my employer, my contractor, we had cut logs on the way up. And I made count, there was 67 logs. So they'd be 67 cut logs on the way down. And so I used my tracking skills, followed horse tracks, horse manure. I do it because at the end of the day, I know I'd want to go home and I'd want to have somebody there to help.
I'm glad we're still producing people like that on the planet. They come in handy, don't they?
I can see riding the horse up the trail and counting 67 logs. What I can't see is then the fire breaks out and you remember the number. I'd be like, was it 16? Was it 74?
Yeah.
Was it 190? Nice job, kid.
And then you kept count on the way back.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 30s, I'd be like, holy crap, it's a fire everywhere, run!
Man, to your point, man, the calm in that kid's voice. She, on the way down, she said the group was able to communicate with search and rescue teams. She got all 16 people to her pickup truck.
Yeah.
And then the last little bit of the trip was piling them in the truck and getting them out. This has reinforced her in plan to become a full-time professional firefighter.
Yeah, I'm glad she hasn't decided to segue off to be a sandwich artist or something like this. She certainly has found her calling, and like I said, the planet need as many Colleen Knowles, I believe is her name, as possible. That's having your act together right there.
And by the way, no knock on sandwich artists. I'm sure these folks after the 4-mile hike were hungry, and a sandwich artist probably did turn up on hand to get them through that difficult next 30, 40 minutes when their body is craving something to eat once they realize they're out of harm's way.
I
need them the most.
I want lots of sandwich artists on the planet and several Colleen Knowles out there, which we do. We're still producing people like this. But bravo to her. And she obviously knew her training. That Jasper fire, I think probably a lot of Minnesotans have been up to the Jasper National Park. Banff is up there as well. It's a massive, huge national park in the Northern Rockies. I was up there a couple of years ago, and over 200,000 people evacuated as a result of that wildfire. And we're talking about an area that's mostly wilderness, because you have Calgary up there, not too far from Jasper and Banff. But when you're evacuating a couple of 100,000 people, you're talking about a really intense forest fire situation. And I have been within, probably a couple of miles of a pretty good burning forest fire, something that might be, a couple of 1,000 acres. And it's very intimidating just to be a couple of miles away from it, let alone going into it, rescuing people and bringing them out. So
can't imagine.
Wild.
It's pretty fantastic. Do you remember the movie that came out, I'm going to say 20-ish years ago, called Open Water?
Yes. Yeah, the couple that were left behind.
Yes. How can I forget?
Oh, gosh,
every time we bring up the worst movie you've ever seen, my daughter Sydney goes, my dad took me to Open. Well, I thought it was going to be thrilling. I thought it was going to be wild, a psychological thriller, which I guess it kind of was, but not for a teenage girl. Terribly boring.
Yeah. No, you got to be a little older for that not to. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
Not for her. I understood. I'm like, imagine your freaking boat left. I've been out there snorkeling, not scuba diving, but snorkeling. What if the freaking boat left?
Based on a true story.
Based on a true story in the Great Barrier Reef. The real story was down in Australia. I think this one was, they put it in the Caribbean. I could be wrong. But a true story of a group goes out, a scuba diving tour. There's, say, 12 people on the boat. They all get in the water. And as they load in back in the boat to go, whoever's doing the head count doesn't recognize that we're 2 heads short. The boat leaves, and 2 people are out in the middle of the ocean for, pretty much forever. That's how that one goes. Really, really chilling, really horrifying movie. Long before the sharks show up, you got jellyfish and all sorts of other things to deal with. And I was asking if you guys had heard of that, because an Oklahoma couple is lucky to be alive and thanking their lucky stars. 36 hours lost in the ocean on a scuba trip.
God.
Off the coast of Houston, out in the Gulf of Mexico. I don't mean to say off the coast like just shortly off, but they left that area, went deep into the Gulf of Mexico, separated from their group when they were swept away by stormy weather.
Yep.
Okay, I get. I've gone scuba diving. It's awesome. Stormy weather and scuba doesn't mix in my brain. Any chance of rain and scuba doesn't mix in my brain.
Now, normally when there's a cloud way out there in the horizon, they blow that air horn and everybody comes in, and but not this couple, thankfully.
It is a miracle. It is a miracle.
Thanks, God.
I think it's called the Coast Guard. Don't know if that's really a miracle. They're just some ladies and gentlemen just doing their jobs that they've trained for years, prepared to go save your ass, because they were, again, 36 hours out there. This couple, Nathan and Kim. Nathan was at particular risk. He's diabetic and came very close to slipping into a diabetic coma while out there in the water.
Not good.
They said they made it into a game to keep them going. They were just coming up with little mental challenges and trivia, anything they could do to stay awake and stay alert. 36 hours of doing anything is a bit much for me, but 36 hours spent contemplating your own mortality in the middle of the ocean, that's going to feel like a lot longer than 36 hours.
Husband and wife, right? They're a couple. Yeah. Would you try and do it? I mean, just while you're out there, you've got the time. This could be it. Yeah, I mean, this could be it. Can we do it in the ocean with the scuba gear?
By do it, I thought you meant would you consider drowning your partner just to
Well, in open water, that the couple were squabbling throughout.
Okay, so that was Sydney's big beef with it. She's a thinker. Every once in a while, every 4 or 5 generations, you get a thinker in the Zepp family. And she said, how do they know they said this? I said, well, it's dramatized. They don't know what they said because the couple ended up dying. So we have no idea what they said. She said, well, then this is all just fabricated. I said, well, yeah, but the premise of the movie is kind of terrifying. She goes, kind of, but the rest of it's just BS. I'm like, all right, well, anyway, would you like to, should we go bowling next weekend?
Wow.
I know she spent way too much time with her dad, but
she's just welcing the AI overlords.
She was pulling for the jellyfish, like in the first half hour.
Man, boy, I only had one. I've gone. It's been a long time, but I went scuba diving a handful of times back in the 90s when I was young and adventurous. I had one really chilling moment, and it was we were at a place. I never went super deep. I think 40 or 50 feet, maybe.
Deep enough.
But deep enough. But like I know people that were like, heavy duty, got into it and got obsessed with it. I was at one place and we were diving, and it's all in a group, and I'm completely aware that there's people around me at all times. I could enjoy it, but I was never in danger of taking a nap. But I was never that relaxed. Like some people are like, it's the calmest I ever feel. I'm like, yeah, not me. I feel cool. I feel cooler when it's over than when it's happening, because then I can say I did it. That's about as good as I get. But the guy explained, he said, we're gonna be diving at a place, and he goes, and we're gonna be right near a shelf. And like if you look at the floor of the ocean, it's like 35 feet deep, and you will come to a place where it just drops. And it drops to a level that you can't see. I mean, it just goes away. And it was just one of those shelves. And it was really weird because the whole group is going and we're all giving each other hand signals. And then sure enough, there it is. You're like looking at the floor of the ocean, and then all of a sudden, just in a straight line, it just goes away.
Staring into the abyss.
And it's right there staring. I was like, wow, it's just right there. And as I'm over the abyss, and you have this feeling of it's going to suck me downward now somehow, which is based on nothing.
Kraken's going to come out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, it's just, I'm already in the ocean. This is just an area where I can't see the bottom. And as I'm like peering over the edge and I'm fully, I'm like, well, this is really weird, and then I'm looking back where it's shallow and I'm where it's deep. One of the divers, I see him and he's pointing, never a good sign. And I look down, and coming up from the depths, straight up like a rocket, is a hammerhead shark.
Oh, hello.
And he's not coming up right under me at all, but over there, enough where I can see him. And he is rising I'm like, shouldn't he get the bends by now? Are they equipped with stuff that we don't have? Because if that was me, I'd have the bends. I'd be in trouble. And that thing just came shooting up and then turned and did like one of these maneuvers and was gone. Whatever he was chasing, I didn't see. And that's when I was like, I'm going to go back to the shallow
oh
area.
My God.
That was the last time I ever dove. In fact, now that I think about it.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, that's good. I'm close enough.
No, I saw a sea turtle and I was a little unsettled.
Oh, yeah?
It's like, well, there's big things out there,
Well,
you
they're
know?
cranky.
Yeah, they're sea turtles, right, exactly. No, it was very cool to see the sea turtle, but we didn't go to a drop-off. They just said when you get out to the end of the coral there, that you'll, it just goes out in the ocean or whatever. Don't go past the coral, he said.
Okay.
You're getting too far away.
Yeah.
And so there's the coral, and you see the sea turtle. It's Taylor and I, and so we decided to follow it a little bit. We're just snorkeling, by the way. We're not scuba diving. And I got out past the coral, following it, and I look up, and I just saw not a deep abyss, but just the expanse of ocean. I just saw the coral ended, and it was just the big blue and all this sand, and that was a pucker for me. And but there were fish in there that were probably, 3 feet long or something like that, and that was just big for me. I'm used to walleye.
Yeah,
but
right.
The only place I've scuba dived is Lake Orbegon in northern Minnesota, up there near Virginia. There's Twin Pines scuba up there, and KQ sent me up there for a mud race. And
chilly water, even in the summer, I would imagine.
Chilly water, yeah. And we went down like 30 feet, but there were some perch and some bass in there, and I was like, wow, I can hang with them. If they come after me, I think I can handle myself.
When I was a kid, my brother was in the Boy Scouts, and he used to get Boys Life magazine. And in the back of Boys Life, they had like the ads, classified ads, and you could buy stuff. And I remember it said you could order a submarine kit, and it was literally like. I don't know if it was supposed to be a joke, but I'm pretty sure like they were suggesting you could build your own U-boat.
Yeah, like a mini sub.
Like a mini sub.
I remember that.
Come on, Mom, please.
And we would just stare at it and be like, this would be the coolest thing. Because we'll go to the pond on the golf course and we'll watch those sunfish underwater.
Yes.
And
I used to submarine you've built.
In the submarine we built. The kid who couldn't change the chain on his bicycle. I'll build that sub. That'll be awesome. Yeah, I'm sure. I think it was pedal powered, just like a bicycle. What could go wrong?
Sure, nothing.
Hey, here's a good one. A woman in Las Vegas has gotten some great news. Go back to 2015. Her 2-year-old dog Gizmo slipped out of a gate in the backyard and was never seen again until recently. This woman got a phone call. Somebody found a dog. It had a microchip, and 9 years after it disappeared, Gizmo had been found and returned.
9 years.
9 years. By the way, 9 years, it's still in town, in Vegas. It wasn't like a call from somewhere else. Gizmo, a 2-year-old dog that looks like one of those really small... it looks like the end product of a dog orgy. I'm sorry. It's just a bunch of weird misshapen parts all crammed together. A little bit of an ugly Frankenstein's monster dog.
It is.
This woman got a call. Someone dropped an 11-year-old dog off at the vet. They scanned the microchip, and then boom, it triggered an email notification automatically, not even a phone call. Just when they scan the microchip, she gets an email saying, hey, we got your dog over here. It's an 8-pound. They're calling it a Chihuahua, but I'm sorry. It looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. The dog was 2 when the dog disappeared. The dog is now 11. There's no way that dog remembers this woman. That dog's like, who the hell is this?
Right. And now you're getting it back at 11. You missed all the fun years. It's back just in time to, start getting old and incontinent. And, Christy's small dogs that'll live for like 20 years. Maybe Gizmo will be around for a while. It would be awkward. I was just thinking, what if I had a girlfriend that got lost? She just wandered off and got lost, and 9 years later she came back. It would be awkward. It'd be like,
it'd be a little awkward. Well, especially if she, like Gizmo, was now afraid of shadows, heights, and birds, walked with a limp, and had 2 severely infected eyes, and was missing teeth. That would be very awkward.
Well, it'd be awkward to dump her then because you would feel guilty. But however, I do chip all my girlfriends now.
I did. I did love you. I did. I really did.
Yeah,
and I'm glad you're okay.
Time has passed. Well, I'm glad it sounds like a sweet reunion. This lady says here that she cried. Again, called it a miracle.
I want to go back to the girlfriend after 9 years. You're at the hospital. Her family's there. You guys have been through her 9 years of hell. Yeah. By now, you're only checking in on her birthday. And then it's like, she's back?
What?
And she's missing what? Teeth? And she's afraid of shadows and heights? No.
I mean,
that's when you find yourself saying things like, well, good for you.
Yeah, good for you. I'm going bungee jumping.
This is great for you. Well, listen, you guys are going to have a lot of catching up to do. I don't want to be in the way here. Now, Steve, you were, if memory serves, 9 years ago, you were thinking about marriage. Listen, hang on.
What's happened?
It's been 9 years. We don't want to rush into anything.
I mentioned I'm gay.
A lot of things can change in 9 years. Whole lot of things. I'm sorry to say. It's just absolutely true. You can find the Steve Gorman and the KQ Morning Show podcast anywhere you get podcasts. And I would recommend that you do that anytime you want. Sponsored by our good friends at Davani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies, baby. It is a Tuesday morning, and we have your top 5 at 9. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is KQ Morning Show, Tuesday, July the 30th. It is time right now. The top 5 at 9. 5 things you need to know to start up your day. Here's a pretty wild one. A Lamborghini is up for auction. Okay, this is a Lamborghini Miura. How do you pronounce it? M-I-U-R-A. Miura. I don't know. It's a Lamborghini. It's a beautiful car. It is going up for auction. The original owner of this car, this is a car from the late 60s, got it in Torino, Italy. Sold to 2 more owners in Torino. First in 72. That guy sold it to someone else in 73. And finally, a gentleman in upstate New York, in Rockaway, New York, near New York City, bought the car in the early 1980s. And he loved this car. And he loved it so much, he just didn't even want to drive it. He just didn't even want to mess with it.
That happens a lot.
He stuck it in the living room of his home.
Why not? I mean, you've got one of these rare, original Lamborghinis, from the home country there. Why not right there make it the centerpiece of your home?
It's a large front door.
Great.
Put it in the living room, and it's been there for 40 years. It is going up for auction. It has never been restored, exhibited, or offered for public sale. They're calling it a lost Miura.
Yeah.
Miura. Whereabouts unknown until this discovery in this guy's home earlier. Now, in order to get it from the house so it could be auctioned, several interior walls had to be demolished. It's just been sitting in this house for 40 years. 42,000 kilometers on the odometer. That's that's less than 30,000 miles.
I got a feeling for what he's going to get for this car, he can put up a nice big new house. He can renovate that place. And does it say what it might go for?
They are expecting the auction house's estimate somewhere from $2 to $2.5 million.
Start tearing down some walls.
But then again, it could go for much higher because these are such a rare thing. Somebody might see this and be, a little more inspired to say, I don't care what it costs, I want one of those.
Yeah, I know a family that had a whole bunch of money, got to be friends with them. Nice folks for rich people, but then they're just genuinely nice people.
Yeah.
And went over there, and they had a huge statue in the middle of their house, kind of a rotunda deal in the middle of the home there. And I mean, when I say huge statue, I want to say 20 feet high. It was massive.
Yeah.
Big, huge statue. And did they carve that in here, sculpt that right in here in the home? And they said, no, we took the roof off.
Statue of what?
Took the roof off?
Yeah, a roof off. It was, it was one
Felix
of
the cat.
No, it was in northern Minnesota, and it's up in the Duluth area, up there in the hills, the spendy part of town. But it was like a moose with an eagle, and it was on a rock backdrop, kind of one of these very northern Minnesota-looking thing.
Not tacky at all.
No, not tacky at all. But they took the roof off the house. Because we had to take the roof off, and they brought it in with a helicopter. I went, as you do.
God.
Right, that was like, I slept in a living room. I put my mattress in my living room for 2.5 years because I couldn't get the box spring upstairs.
Yeah, sure.
I just thought, the living room's, why not? We'll put it right here.
My first and second grade teacher. I had a teacher in first grade. Her name was Mrs. Gass. G-A-S.
Probably
Mrs.
a sweetheart.
Gass.
I knew I was one of her favorites.
Yes.
I turned up for day one of second grade. And she had moved up after many years. She decided she was going to teach second grade. I, of course, she didn't want to teach without me. I really thought this woman is just. So I had her for 2 straight years.
Yeah.
She lived right across the street from our school, Benfield Elementary, across the street. and she lived in the house. The tree house. The house with a giant oak tree right through the middle of the house.
Wow.
That's cool.
They built the house around a tree.
Like
and
that.
it was in her living room and up through the second floor, right through the roof. They literally constructed a house around a tree.
Immediately cool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking bugs.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to
Did you
deal with-
see your pet squirrel?
I never went into the house to see it. I don't know if it was like glass domed off, if it was protected. I don't know. But all I know is she lived in that treehouse, and we thought, man, she must be cool.
Yeah.
Must be something going on over there.
And then how was third grade with her?
No, sorry, that was Mrs. Williams. Not my. I was not on her good kid list. That woman, she took one look at me. Well, you know what she said? I had your brother, David. And you know, when a teacher says that, you're like, so I'm already a dead man. He's a knucklehead. You'll never give me a fair shake.
Right.
Not that I had earned one. And then, of course, fourth grade teacher, Miss Roz Marinowski. We spent the first week of school learning how to spell her name. She wrote it on the chalkboard every day like 30 times. She really wanted us to get that down, and I've never forgotten it since.
I was going to say, I bet you can still spell it.
Number 4 on your R-O-Z, Mary, M-A-R-Y-K-N-O-W-S-K-I. Roz Marinowski. Ding!
Be beaming with pride.
You know it. Number 4 on your top 5 at 9, the state of Minnesota. What with this warm, wet summer we're having, watch yourself. An awful lot of mushrooms out there in the woods being discovered. A lot of people thinking, maybe I want to eat these mushrooms. A lot of people calling the Minnesota Regional Poison Center, as in 150% higher number of calls than last year. People going, I might have eaten a bad mushroom. Those calls need to be made long before the mushroom goes into the pot, into your mouth.
Those mushroom hunters, they know what they're doing. I mean, that's a skill. That's a craft. You got to figure it out. There's an app for that too, I'm sure. But yeah, I imagine that 99 out of 100 mushrooms you find out there in the woods are not edible.
Yeah, a quote from a guy at the Minnesota Poison Center, the metro area, Minneapolis, St. Paul, having a huge year for mushrooms due to the previous few years of severe drought, followed by this year's extremely wet and cool spring, consistent moisture. Never pick and eat a wild mushroom unless it's been identified by a mushroom expert. I don't have one on call. I don't have one in my phone right now.
No?
Well, that's not true. I know several mushroom experts, psilocybin mushrooms, but not wild mushrooms like this.
Right.
The only safe mushrooms are the ones that can be purchased in the grocery store. Don't eat wild mushrooms.
Yeah,
That's the lesson here.
There was several years ago, there were some folks, and come to think of it, that was a wet spring out there when I was living in Montana, and they were going out, and I believe there were morels. They might have been something else, and they grow in abundance out there, and the folks go out and get them, but they didn't prepare them properly. Got a fungus, and it ended up killing a lady.
Ouch.
Yeah, not cool. So, yeah, you got to get yourself a mushroom expert or become one.
And I think, not that it matters. I mean, death is terrible, but I can't imagine it's not like you just eat it and go, oh, and then you fall asleep and die. I imagine it's kind of painful.
Oh, it's got to be.
Just got to rip you apart.
Oh, God.
I mean, hell, the good, fun, happy, magic, trippy mushrooms rip your stomach apart.
They
My
do,
God.
don't they? Yeah, they mess you up.
Number 3 on your top 5 at 9, Westerly, Rhode Island, a beach town over the weekend had a heretofore never seen swarm situation. A black cloud, as it was described, arrived on the beach. There were hundreds of people on this beach. There is video available online if you want to Google it. Check it out. The keyword dragonfly. Or if you want to go... Or you could search, as someone does call it, a dragonfly apocalypse.
Oh. This is the audio that's circulating this morning.
Dude, that's insane. This is some apocalypse. Dude, look at them all. Oh, my God. Where'd they all come from?
There were people there on hand. And by the way, the video is there. It is a true swarm. There are more dragonflies in this one small area than I've ever seen in the entirety of my life. I mean, how many actual dragonflies do you see in a year? You know, a few, handful.
Yeah, sure, you know.
You come out and see one and then see a few more, and I don't know, call it a dozen. This is tens of thousands of dragonflies all rolling up on the beach together.
Yeah, this is biblical a bit. Well, that sounds tranquil.
Dude, that's insane. This is
add this to it.
Dude, look at them all. Oh, my God. Where'd they all come from?
And And we learned some fun facts. The dragonfly has been around for 300 million years, one of the oldest insects on the planet. And 300 million years ago, these bad boys, 2.5 foot wingspan.
No need for that.
They weighed over a pound. But they're skeeter eaters, man. They'll eat 100 skeeters a day and each other. We also found out they're cannibalistic.
Really?
Yeah. They're just.
I was down with the eating the mosquitoes, but if they're gonna start eating each other, it's kind of like come on.
Yeah.
You're getting all. That's just you're getting into a frenzy. You're excited. You're eating mosquitoes, and then you're like, oh hell, I'll just eat Mike too. It's like, come on, that's your buddy. That's your friend.
Is that a dragonfly?
That's what it says.
Man.
Wow.
Dragonfly sound effect.
They said
It's labeled.
the folks that were on the beach did say it was so loud that you could hear. It sounded like being by an airport. The number of wings all flapping. If they're all making that much noise, it was really, really loud.
I wonder why they swarmed up like that, because you don't see dragonfly swarms. You see skeeter swarms, gnats, that kind of thing. The cicadas, of course.
This is apparently they're starting their annual migration between late July and mid-October. They in the Northeast, they head down to the Gulf of Mexico or the southeastern U.S.
That was the other thing I read this morning, and I don't have it in front of me, but they've been known to migrate across oceans. A bug.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just, I guess you get in the Gulf jet stream there, and away you go.
We got it.
Soothing, isn't it? This goes on for an hour and a half.
Sounds like a cricket with COVID.
Nothing like. I mean, I feel like I'm in a hammock out in the woods, falling asleep to the caressing sounds of a dragonfly. They are not ever after humans at all. They eat a lot of other insects, as you said, Zepp. And by the way, they cannot sting. They're not going to hurt you. They're going to freak you out for sure. But a bunch of specialists in the area are like, come on, if you see them again, don't overreact. Yeah, fat chance. We're going to overreact. We're 1,000 miles from that beach, and we're talking about it for the second time today.
Yeah.
That would freak me out. There is a Paul McCartney song called Dragonfly on the Red Rose Speedway album. That's really all I got. I'm out of Dragonfly information now.
I can see the album cover. What was the big tune on that one?
My Love.
There it is.
With that guitar solo by Henry McCullough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baby. Number 2 on your top 5 at 9, the Minnesota Wild announced they have locked down Brock Faber. Maple Grove native defenseman has agreed to an 8-year extension worth $68 million.
Pay the man.
That keeps him on the team through 2032-33 seasons.
I like that. Yep.
He played in all 82 games as a rookie last regular season, 47 points. That's not a bad debut at all.
A rookie. Yeah, no, he's going to be around for a long time. He's fantastic and just a real stud. And the Wild really needed to get that done for a lot of different reasons. But congratulations to all involved, especially us fans.
Yeah, it's nice to see a single-season rookie franchise record for most assists, most block shots, and most time on ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess around. Just lock him down.
He'll be an anchor for a long time.
Number 1 on the top 5 at 9, the Olympics roll along today. Reagan Smith and Suni Lee, Lakeville native Reagan Smith, Suni Lee from St. Paul, both be competing this afternoon. Reagan Smith in the 100-meter backstroke, which means she's a freak. Suni Lee in the women's gymnastics, which means she's a freak.
Yeah.
I look at these athletes and and the older you get, the more you're like, holy smokes. I was watching Katie Ledecky took home the 1,500 meter, as she does every time.
Goat.
This morning, she finished 19.7 seconds ahead of the silver medalist.
She's lapping people.
19.7. The shot of her on her final lap.
Yeah.
There's not another swimmer in the shot.
She's on her phone.
It's just unbelievable, that woman.
I would, of course, never be an Olympian, but I would quit. I just get out of the pool. I'm just going to watch her finish this one. I want to record this one on my phone.
Tread water and wait for people to catch up to make it exciting.
Pee in the pool.
She now listen. She's lost a step. I believe this is her 4th Olympics. She has a pile of medals, and this is her specialty, the 1,500 meter. She's got an Australian that has come up to bite her, a younger swimmer, I believe, that got her on a couple of races yesterday. But the 1,500 meters is hers, and she is in the pool for the ladies, the Olympian GOAT.
Yeah, it's astonishing to see. Michael Phelps, the long lasting GOAT on the men's side.
Yeah,
his individual medley. That's the all 4 strokes in one race.
The 400 IM.
Butterfly, back, breast, then freestyle. The 400 IM. What did you tell me? He had the world record for 20 plus years, something like that?
Over 20 years. And we know they're much like track records, these swimming records. They fall every Olympics, every year at the Nationals. They just bing, bang, boom. They're dropping one after another. To have a 20 plus year run in one race is unprecedented, of course, by a couple of decades, probably.
Right. This French kid, Leon Marchand, has set an Olympic record in the 400-meter individual medley in front of the home crowd, racing a record that Michael Phelps did hold. That's pretty astonishing. Like you said, this thing's been sitting there for 2 decades, and then the hometown kid, the French kid, just goes out there and takes it.
And they're gonzo about him there. I mean, he's from a small town, Toulouse there, a small farming town, and so he's the big national hero. And Michael Phelps is his hero.
Yep.
He said, Michael Phelps was the reason he got into the pool. He contacted with an email Michael Phelps' coach at Arizona State, ended up going to Arizona State, and his coach now is Michael Phelps' old coach. I'm forgetting his name, but pretty cool moment when he got the gold medal. Michael Phelps came out of the broadcast booth, came down and put the gold medal on him.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Plenty of great things. Like we mentioned also, Suni Lee competing in the women's gymnastic team finals is happening. It's probably happening right now or later this morning.
Yeah.
I'll be watching the highlights of that later today. And then, of course, when it goes to the individual, it'll be great to see her competing against Simone and against Jordan, all the U.S. women's gymnastics team. They're just all astonishing.
That's, so that's a little bit of a controversy. I have been watching a lot of Olympics. So now since the Romanians in 2000 took all top 3 spots in the all-around, they went to a rule where each country only gets 2. Even though Jordan, Simone, and Suni are rated 1, 2, 3 in the world, unfortunately, Jordan got pushed out of the competition. Probably would have ended up there 1, 2, 3, but someone else will sneak in now. But so Suni and Simone next week, but the big team gold, they should wrap that up today. Should wrap it up.
They certainly should. Let's see. It's exciting and always gives us plenty to look forward to. This is a great couple of weeks. Hey, Billy Joel and Sting are going to share the stage for one night, this November in Las Vegas. And you can score a trip for 2. That is including, of course, round-trip airfare, a 2-night hotel stay, and tickets to the show at Allegiant Stadium. Right now, text the national keyword piano, Piano, to 95819 to enter for a chance to win.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Tuesday, July the 30th. Wild turkeys, there's plenty of those bad boys in this part of the world.
Yeah.
But I don't see them that often. I'm still blown away by the fact that I see bald eagles all the time. But wild turkeys, I'm not seeing too many of. In Boston, Massachusetts, a large urban environment, hardly pastoral.
All right.
A woman was surprised to walk out and see her car seriously damaged, parked on the street in front of her house. Her car looks like a series of jilted drunk dudes keyed it overnight. Like it's just scratched to death. And there was a note on her windshield from a neighbor, and the note said, hey, I just watched and recorded a massive turkey attack your car for over 15 minutes.
Why?
Sorry you were the target of this turkey rage. And sure enough, the neighbor has video of a turkey just going to town on the side of this woman's car.
Turkey rage.
Now, people say turkeys see themselves in the reflection on the window, and they attack. They think because what their brain is the size of a dime?
Yeah, smaller, I'm sure.
But this woman was shocked to see it's not an easy fix. These are deep, dark scratches that are not going anywhere anytime soon. When a turkey attacks your car, you just got to laugh. I mean, there's nothing you can do, or you can say to the neighbor, did you Do you think about doing anything other than recording this 15-minute vandalism from this bird?
Don't know much about the neighbor, but probably doesn't have a lot of experience with large birds, and thought, well, and that's what everyone does now. They record things instead of intervening and helping out more often than not. But maybe they were a little freaked out. I don't know why I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. But here's the young lady whose car was attacked by the turkey.
All sides of my car were messed up, like completely scratched. We were already a little out of it. Saw the note, was like, oh gosh, someone hit my car. It says, I just watched and recorded a massive turkey attack your car for over 15 minutes. Sorry you were the target of this turkey rage.
Yeah, you know what? You've got an app there on your phone. Download like a coyote sound effect or something like that. See if you can't send that turkey packing while it destroys my vehicle. And you're right. It was probably a reflection thing because, turkeys are idiots. But maybe don't spend a lot of money detailing your car and getting a nice shiny wax on there.
How much damage is a turkey really going to do to you? I mean, if you walk up to a turkey, let's just say you pick up a Little League baseball bat.
Yeah.
You can take care of that damn thing, can't you?
Hell yeah.
I'm not suggesting people go around clubbing turkeys, but if it's attacking a car, if it's attacking a person, we hear these stories about now, this is my ignorance speaking. I've not dealt with wild turkeys, mono turkey in my life. Apparently, they can hurt you, I suppose. I mean, they can beat the hell out of a car. I guess they can do the same to you.
Yeah, I know we've been charged by turkeys on the farm, and I know you give a little ground, but it was more of kind of a laughing reaction. I know geese have those spikes under their wings, right there in their armpits.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what they're there for, to kick ass. And you get nibbed by one of those, and that's... that can create a little wound, I guess. It's just kind of a freaky thing. But yeah, I'd be heading. I might give ground to the garage while I grab the snow shovel, but I'm coming back armed.
Well, sure.
Here's a wild turkey shutting down an entire mobile home park.
Goes up my stairs and tries to get in my house. When I leave in the car, follows me in my car. It gets on the back of my husband's truck and follows me. It rode to Chipotle with me one time. I have to carry my broom and my water bottle and my golf club with me everywhere I go.
Like, we can't have people over. We can't have a barbecue.
The kids that walk to the bus stop every morning, I have to come out and help them. But now they're smart and they carry sticks.
Yeah, okay. Now it's time for the 12 gauge.
Okay.
Now the baseball bat or whatever you have. Turkey's got to go.
By the time it's going to Chipotle with you, you got yourself a problem. On the KQ Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK, we just got a text. A turkey broke the window out on my garage last week. What in the world? And we've got a call. Michael from Monticello. Michael, good morning.
Hey, how's it going? A number of years ago, I was coming back from a friend's house in Wisconsin, and I hit this storm. I had this old Plymouth Colt beater, and it fried the computer on it. We found that out later. Anyway, I was in this storm outside of Colby, Wisconsin, out in the country, and I just slept in the car. It was like 3 a.m. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I woke up, and the car is surrounded by turkeys gobbling at me, flaring out their feathers. Like, what the hell is going on here? And I went to open the door thinking they'd run. No, they came at the door. They were attacking the door. And I was sci-fi horror movie attacking the turkeys. So I rolled down the window and I was flinging water out. I had a case of water bottles, and they eventually left. But I was like, what the heck? I wish I had like back then we didn't have cell phones with cameras.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't believe it. So that's my big turkey story.
That is in fact a big turkey story. Thank you for that, Michael.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm on my way to River Falls from Monticello to do some work through Home Depot. I do tile and anyway,
right on.
Great listening to you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for keeping me going on the road.
We appreciate it.
I said Monticello. It's a habit of the years. The one I know is Monticello, but Monticello, I apologize.
No, not at all. I mean, it's it's a big bird. Let's be honest with you. And, you can sit here and talk tough, but so in that situation, I get it. If it's terrorizing my house and my kids are carrying sticks out to the bus, the turkey's going to be gone pretty quick. I'm coming back with some firepower. The turkey's going to go. But I suppose if you've got a whole bunch of, you turn your back. crazy bastards. Here's a man said he was attacked by a turkey during
Next thing
mating
I know, it
season.
really fluffs its feathers up and gets big, and it starts coming towards me. And my first thought was, I'm going to get big and maybe scare it off. What do I know? It just keeps coming, so I turn and just run. And I quickly look around to see if any of my neighbors are seeing the idiot being chased by a turkey.
It's best to keep your distance for your own safety and for the sake of the animals, too.
Yeah, screw the animals. But, yeah, maybe just, it depends. Do I have my boots on? Because maybe I could put the boot on it.
They take down one, aren't they going to come back for revenge?
So that's the thing when you get a whole bunch. Right, exactly. I don't know. The turkeys, I wonder if they have those little flogging prongs under their wings. I don't know. No one was ever hurt out on the farm, but yeah, Shane, my cousin, was flogged by a goose one time, and they cut him up a little bit on his back there because, they had those stupid-ass spikes under their wings.
This is the text that just came in. Hey, knuckleheads. Male wild turkeys have spurs. They won't kill you, but they'll tear you up. Gorman better be well armed and quick if he thinks he's taking one on. Okay, fair enough.
Screw it.
That's
I grew up, I've been wild turkey hunting, and I get some turkey. Like I said, yeah, it's a wild animal. It's coming at you. But to that caller, I would say if you had a turkey terrorizing your neighborhood and you were afraid to leave the house, your kids couldn't go to the bus stop, you know what beats a spur? A 12-gauge round.
Wally texted, do not approach a turkey that's already pissed. That thing will destroy you. And then he sent a photo. This is at my house. They're everywhere. 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's a dozen and a half turkeys in his yard. Holy crap.
Come on, guys. Can we win a war anymore? Jeez, we're losing to the turkeys.
It's all about the turkeys.
Yeah.
KQ Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. Nathan, good morning, sir. Nathan, you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, what do you got, brother?
So about 10 years ago, I was living in Ham Lake, and I walked out in my garage, and there's a big hole in my sheetrock inside the garage. I walked out behind the garage, and there was a giant hole in the garage behind my garage, and all that was laying there was a big turkey feather.
It's a sign.
I have no idea why a turkey would fly into the back of my garage or whatever.
They're not bright. They're not bright
That's
animals.
what happened.
Yeah.
He just wanted you to know this could have been you. This hole in the wall could have been you.
Maybe it was your neighbor shooting a turkey cannon at you.
Could have been. You never know. Thanks, Nathan. We appreciate it. Here's another text that came in. I'm a turkey farmer. Try getting hit in the face or nuts by a 50-pound turkey. Good gracious.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't forget to wear your cup when you go out and feed the turkeys.
Man, you learn a lot around here in a
It's a
day.
big bird, That's... I just like to think that we're on top of that of that food chain. I just like to feel like we're above them. I just had turkey yesterday. It was delicious.
To your point, Zep, this just in on the text line. A Louisville slugger, and we're having turkey sandwiches.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Yeah. I know easier said than done. We talk about wildlife, right? Guys
Sure.
are tough. We think we can take things. Like I said, I'm not sure I could take a gerbil. They're mean. Once they get wild like that and they get crazy. So a turkey's a big bird. I get it.
Well, yeah, man. You always see the footage of the little chihuahua scaring off the black bear and stuff in the backyard.
Right,
yeah. It's all about, those things turn on you. You're like, I can probably beat this guinea pig in a fight to the death. But short of that, I'm just going to be annoyed and he's going to chew my fingers and I'm not going to like that.
Although yesterday, didn't we have the story? A guy punched a grizzly bear in the mush.
He did.
Yeah. A
Right in
sow
the
and a
nose.
couple of cubs.
There's another bird that's wreaking havoc in Dorset, England, on the southern coast of England. There's a shop, a convenience store, in over 6 years, one particular seagull that they call Steven Seagull
All right.
has made off
Okay.
with over 30, in the last 2 months alone, this bird has made off with 30 bags of potato chips. And it's been going on for 6 years. This seagull comes into the store. It waits for a customer to open the door and then runs in, grabs it, puts his head around the corner of the door, nicks a packet of chips, and then flies off with it. This seagull particularly prefers the barbecue chips.
Who doesn't?
This is pretty great, and the owner of the owner of the store was interviewed, and he's like, "No, we have everyone that comes into the store sees this guy do it. He's not shy. He completely knows what he's doing. It's very daring and it's annoying." But the shopkeeper at the end of the day said, "Well, what can you do?"
What are you going to do?
Well, something like that. If they're still in a bag of chips, I mean, that almost becomes a tourist attraction, doesn't it? Now I want to go down there and see this seagull
That's what I'm saying.
lift a bag of chips.
It's got to be good for business. Tina, we've got Tina on the KQ Talk and Text line. Good morning, Tina.
Hi.
What do you got for us?
Pardon me?
Go ahead. What do you got?
I grew up on a hobby farm, and we had, the three main birds, chickens, geese, and turkeys. And when I got off the bus, my older brother, being older, had much longer legs, could run faster than me up the driveway.
Okay.
And he would lock me out of the house, so I couldn't get in. And they would come up onto the deck, of course, after me. And getting pinched by a goose is kind of worse than a turkey.
Yeah.
They tear into you, but they have hooks on the tips of their wings.
Yeah.
So when they're flapping their wings at you, they tear into you as well, not just their feet and beaks. So I would not take one on as an adult, knowing the terror they gave me as a child.
Yeah, no. In fact, when there's small geese like that, goslings, you cut that out. You get in there with a pair of tweezers and you snap that little hook, that little spike out of there, so they can't flog you. And not everyone does that on their farms, but
we didn't do that.
Yeah,
even knowing they terrorized us up the driveway, my dad never did it.
Oh no! I mean, my cousin Shane got flogged by a goose. I think that might have been a wild one of the honkers, and it got him good. I mean, he took some nice gouges out of his back.
Did you ever think about taking a ball peen hammer to your brother's foot?
I would have
slowing him down a little bit
as you sprint past him and he's hobbling along on his crutches.
What kind of monster is your older brother letting you get attacked by geese like that?
Right.
Unbelievable. You guys get along now, or is he still just that dude who had a goose thing?
He's still that douchebag.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you for the call, Tina. We appreciate it. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and Text line. Sean, we've got Sean on the horn. What do you got for us, brother? Good morning.
What's going on, man? Just driving down to work one day, going about 65, maybe the speed limit, I don't know. But a turkey out of the blue flies right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I hit it with my passenger side quarter panel by the headlight.
Right.
It destroyed my whole grill, pushed my hood up into my windshield, broke my windshield. I mean, $8,000 worth of damage from the insurance company. And then every day going back and forth to work, just to get revenge, I'd run that dead turkey over in the road.
There you go. Man.
I got him back.
Yeah, you got him back. And you left a little something for his friends to think about, too.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's awesome. All right, thank you for the call, man.
Later.
Those other turkeys were like, he still thinks he's killing that bird. Right. He doesn't realize he's already dead.
What if he jumped up and said, I'm fine?
You ever been attacked by a jive turkey? Oh, that's the worst.
Man, that is the worst. Oh, man, who knew? The wild turkeys. Everybody's got a story.
They are. They're nasty beasts.
We are, we're approaching August here real fast, which means there's going to be, we got a KQ up north thing happening in October. If memory serves, there's a big get-together later in August. What is that, the State Fair? I believe that gets a little bit of attention.
They all sweat together.
A lot of things to look forward to over the next few months. But for right now, it's probably more important to look back. Oh, I'll tell you what's happening. Giant Stadium, built in New Jersey back in the day. The rumors still to this day that Union leader Jimmy Hoffa is buried under Giant Stadium. Why do I mention that in sports history? It was on this day in 1975 that Jimmy Hoffa went missing. Walked out of a restaurant in Bloomfield Township, a restaurant I have been to.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? You're there, like, oh, that's where he went? Let's go in there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a diner. It wasn't all that great. The general presumption at the time, Hoffa was done in by the mob. They were afraid that he would rat out their connection with the Teamsters. But, of course, the legend lives on that he was stuffed into an oil drum and buried underneath Giant Stadium, home of both the New York Jets and the New York Giants. I don't know if that's true, but I'd like to think it is.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for a good story. I don't know that they have to be that elaborate. Most of the bodies the mob offed have not been found.
That's very true.
They're pretty good at getting rid of those bodies, but it's a fun story.
On this day, a year after Jimmy Hoffa disappeared, July 30th, 1976, Bruce Jenner won gold in the decathlon at the Montreal Olympics. He set a world record with 8,618 points. And Bruce Jenner was then overnight one of the most famous men in America. He's on the Wheaties box. He's on the Today Show. He's on Good Morning America. He's everywhere. And if at any time during that entire first brush with fame, somebody had said, guess what his next 48 years are going to be like? I don't think anybody would have believed you. Truth is always far more compelling than fiction. Nobody could have imagined all of the twists and turns of that, of Bruce Jenner and now Caitlyn Jenner's life.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.